You're listening to Breakfast with Dan and Jenny on ABC Newcastle.
If you've had to take a COVID test this year, you'd know the experience of having to isolate until you get your results back might only take 24 hours, sometimes could take a few days, but you are not allowed out of the house until you know you're negative. What if you're an expat returning home?
Well, you've got to isolate for 2 weeks in hotel accommodation, basically. You don't get a choice, really, of where you stay, and you eat what they deliver to your door. You don't get to go outside. It's quite the experience, from what I'm told. Kelsey Burrows is a local woman. She's currently isolating after returning from living in Dublin. She was in the Travelodge, and you might remember that everyone was moved out of the Travelodge and into other accommodation because of concerns about the conditions there potentially being not quite up to scratch.
Kelsey is with us now. Good morning, Kelsey.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Excellent, thank you. But how are you? You've had a pretty difficult time settling in.
It's been an emotional journey, Dan, that's for sure.
Tell us about it. You've been home for what, 5 days?
Yeah, I'm on day 5 of quarantine now, in the Novotel in Darling Harbour.
How are you feeling at the moment then, 5 days in?
So I think if the move from the Travelodge hadn't happened, then I'd be like well into my routine by now. That shook things up a little bit, but I'm like back on track in terms of like, you know, having that routine and like looking after myself better.
We'll ask about the routine in a second, but how bad was the Travelodge? Are you happier now that you've been moved?
Look, honestly, I don't think I had it as bad as other people had it. My room was, you know, of reasonable standard of cleanliness. I had plenty of space. I could have stayed there for the duration, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But I realised it wasn't the case for most people. I did have cockroaches in my room at one point, but like, I don't know, I could deal with that.
I mean, Kelsey, I get cockroaches in my house just quietly, so,
Exactly.
you know, it's part of life in Australia sometimes. You don't expect it in a hotel, though, do you?
No. You don't.
So, Kelsey, you're in new accommodation, which is nicer on all accounts for everybody who had that experience that you did. When you talk about having a routine, what even is that when you're in hotel quarantine?
Yeah, it's a good question, Jenny. It's something I've really worked on in the lead up to coming into quarantine and like the whole journey in general. But I wanted to like stick to some basic principles. I don't necessarily have like a daily structure. But basically I want to make sure that I'm drinking enough water, because I'm not getting the fresh air and the air conditioning is really dry. I want to be doing a workout every single day, and my trainers back home are not letting me not do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I want to make sure that like I'm keeping the area tidy and keeping everything clean, not just for the bugs, but like for the clutter of my mind as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Tell us about the workout. Are you able to do that online with someone when you talk about trainers, or you just know what to do, and how much room have you got to do it?
Yeah, I've got plenty of space. So I've been working with a gym called New Element Fitness in Dublin, near where I was living, and they've got an online boot camp. So I've just been tuning in to them when their sessions go live, and yeah, I've got plenty of space. It's all body weight stuff, so it's not like I need any equipment.
Kelsey, why'd you come home from Dublin?
I've been asking myself that. Well, I mean, I lost my job back in March when things first started going awry. I was a travel agent in one of the leading student agencies there, and the company went bust. I was out of a job, and I tried to hold on for as long as I could. But I also knew that I needed to come home around this time of year anyway, because my sister's getting married soon.
Okay.
But the decision to like pack up my life in Dublin really came down to a financial and the difficulty of journey decision. That's what it wound up being.
Right. So you lose your job in March. You decide you want to be home for the wedding by the end of the year. You've only been home 5 days. How hard was it over the last few months to get back here?
It was tough. There's plenty of Aussies that have got it harder than me again. But I booked flights in July for the start of August. So I was meant to be flying on the 10th, and 48 hours before departure, I got notification that I'd been bumped from my flight. So I ended up forking out about $5,000 to upgrade to business class. so that I
Kelsey.
could fly on the 21st. Yeah.
This is a common story that we're hearing from Australians overseas, that they want to come back, but the airlines just want to fill up business class, basically.
Well, I mean, they got to charge exorbitant rates because they need to put as many passengers on as they can. They also need to make their flights viable, you know. So the passenger caps for people coming into the country at the moment really, really restrict the airline's ability to, you know, have a feasible flight, you know, financially. So I mean, mine is a good story. I only got cancelled once. I paid. I'm here. But like, I've got a friend who was living in Denmark up until a couple of weeks ago. She just got out of quarantine yesterday, and like, she got cancelled 6 times before she actually got on that flight. So any expats with flights booked at the moment, they're holding their breath until they're actually on that aircraft or even on their connection. It's a tough road for expats at the moment.
Kelsey, 9 days to go. No doubt you are counting down, making the most of the time, working out, drinking more water, etc. Thank you for having a chat with us today.
Thank you for having me. Can I say a little something else?
Please.
Yeah. So my mum is listening. Today's her birthday. So I just wanted to say a big happy birthday to my mum. I can't wait to be home with you in 9 days' time.
What's your mum's name, Kelsey?
Joe.
And does she live in the Hunter region?
Yeah, so I'll be moving home to live with her in Morisset.
Oh, well, happy birthday to Joe
Happy
in
birthday,
Morisset.
Joe.
Have a great day, Joe. Kelsey, you too, make the most of it as much as possible, and we'll hopefully talk when you're on the outside.
Catch up on some ABC TV or something like that, will you?
Yeah, I've been all over the news. Yep.
Yeah. Good on you, Kelsey. Thank you. That's Kelsey Burrows. She is in isolation in a hotel in Sydney after getting back from Dublin. What an experience.
I know, and she hasn't seen her mum yet.